As funny as it sounds, I actually executed one of my first major projects, We All Bleed Red, back when I was a senior at Exeter. And although this is not the ideal time to execute an initiative, since I wasn't able to write about it in my college apps, I did have another opportunity to discuss my achievements and personal growth when I was deferred from Princeton. I ended up writing something called a deferral letter, where I was able to explain and discuss this amazing project I was working on. Plus, how it really benefited the community. Point is, for those of you who have already passed their junior year and are a little bit worried about executing your project too late, don't be. The best time to launch was probably a year ago, but the second best time is now. Some of you might even be watching this in college, but know that there are people who started their first business, nonprofit initiative well after they graduated. So guess what? You're still ahead of the curve. Now back to We All Bleed Red. This was a service project I developed after attending a brilliant summer camp called Global Citizens Initiative, which I highly recommend. At this camp, everybody had to choose one problem to hone in and focus on: poverty, education, or environment. I chose education, specifically creative education. Next, I ended up gathering a few of my friends, and we ended up planning this exhibition to be launched during the winter of my senior year. After we decided on a venue or location to host the exhibition, we asked people to submit artwork in response to the question, what is it like to be blank at Exeter? What is it like to be Black at Exeter? What is it like to be poor at Exeter? What is it like to be a Republican at Exeter? I was stunned. We received over 50 pieces of artwork, ranging from personal narratives to poetry to self-portraits to even a short film. In the end, over 200 people attended our opening night reception, which was just absolutely mind-blowing considering that there's only 1,000 people at our school. I'll never forget seeing the hallway where we hosted the exhibition. It was just utterly packed. One of the funniest moments about the project actually took place on opening night. Honestly, the reason so many kids showed up, maybe, wasn't necessarily because they were super jazzed about the artwork. It may have had something to do with the fact that I promised there would be free monkey bread, which was made by this very talented baker in our grade. I have a feeling that about 100 people were there just because I ordered $150 worth of monkey bread. But it worked. They showed up, they stayed, they ate monkey bread. The dude who made the monkey bread got paid. I mean, it was pretty much a win-win-win across the board. Now that story time is over, let's talk about I+. I've always been interested in the intersection of art and education. And ever since I saw this drab basement hallway in the bottom of our academy building, I wanted to do something about it, Also, I saw our rival high school, Andover, do a similar project called Out of the Blue. But rather than hosting an exhibition, they created an anthology of written work where people shared what it was like being an Andover student. I wanted to do something with a similar intention, but a different format. And that's how We All Bleed Red was born. Sometimes initiatives are created because we see a problem in the world, and sometimes it's because we see an opportunity. And in this case, it was both. People. There were many people involved, and at the end of the day, a project is only as great as the community it touches. Through We All Bleed Red, I was able to leverage both the existing art community as well as the community at large. Another thing that I'm particularly proud of is how I was able to coordinate and work with the administrators who ran our school's official gallery, the Lamont Gallery. The curator there was instrumental in sharing tips and advice about how to plan the event, ranging from how to market to how to position our artwork in order to generate the most memorable experience for our attendees. I was also really lucky and privileged to receive mentorship from the Global Citizens Initiative staff, who guided me throughout the entire process. And last but not least, I had my two co-organizers, Carissa and Pranay. Pranay was a logistics master and dealt with many of the fine details, while Carissa was a nationally renowned artist who convinced many of her friends to help out and contribute to what we were building. Legitimacy. While I wasn't really aiming for legitimacy at the time, I feel like the project really blew up because we were featured in the school's alumni magazine, in the school newspaper, and over 20% of the student body showed up to the event, making it one of the most successful of the year. A lot of this had to do with the people factor, right? Because there were so many people involved, a lot of people were invested in the project's success. Artists who participated invited their friends. And also the monkey bread. The monkey bread helped a lot. Uniqueness. No one had ever hosted a multimedia exhibition like this in our school before, especially not one with a cohesive theme. Personally, I think that really helped the project stand out, and it also helped convince a lot of people who weren't originally that interested to participate. You know, some people gave us artwork they'd already made and tweaked it, whereas some people created brand new art just for the purpose of this exhibition. Social impact. When I originally planned and executed We All Bleed Red, I told my GCI mentor that as long as one person attended the exhibition and their mind changed, their perspective shifted after engaging with one piece of art, I would be happy. Success, in my mind, was just changing someone's way of thinking. But I hadn't anticipated that people would be moved, like emotionally moved to participate, invite their friends, and here's where it gets really interesting. Grow We All Bleed Red and invest in it after I graduated. I learned that people loved what we were building so much, you know, this celebration of differences in order to help us better understand each other and unite, that even after I graduated, a whole new generation of younger students continued hosting the exhibition. Over time, they actually built an Instagram page and turned it into a week-long festival. Opening night now has a performing arts component where people perform spoken word, original songs, short plays, and more. I am so incredibly proud of this initiative precisely because of its social impact. Honestly, guys, I never could have anticipated that even after I graduated, WABR would continue blossoming in such a beautiful way. Overall, it was a truly invigorating and invaluable experience. My only regret is I wish I had started earlier. Also, the time it took for me to plan and execute the project took 9 months, which is way too long. I really started to lose some motivation and steam around the 5-6 month mark, which is why I highly recommend emphasizing speed and execution over planning and waiting. In closing, I sincerely hope that this video helped you learn from our experience and don't make our mistakes.